Hey everybody, I'm popping up an extra video here because I actually just watched a video that the fact that this gentleman was talking the way he does requires me to address something with regards to it. Our cultures are becoming very authoritarian, right? And you've got to get your head around, because somebody has, as an example, has a doctor in front of their title, doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. You can have, as an example, an orthopedic surgeon who graduated ahead of his class, and you can have one who just squeaked by with whatever the lowest mark is to get through. And because somebody is allegedly an authority in something, doesn't mean anything. It also does not mean that they are not a corrupt, self-serving asshole. Now, I saw one today, and this is a guy who's supposedly, security is what I do for my living, and these VPNs are a waste of time. Okay, you're an idiot. Congratulations. Now, that's got nothing to do with what you're seeing up here. I'm going to switch windows here. I strongly encourage anybody who is watching this to subscribe to Naomi's channel. She is awesome. She's a very heads up lady when it comes to security and privacy. You definitely want to check her channel out. I was just watching one of her videos here on the other side. One I've actually seen before, but you're definitely going to want to check her out. You know, the authoritarians will come to you and they will say things like, you have nothing to fear if you have nothing to hide. Okay, I'm going to give you a real world example that's got to do with computers. I have a knife that I use for cooking that I can take your hand off at the wrist with it without very much effort. Now, would I put that knife in a drawer with a whole lot of other eating utensils in there so that somebody could accidentally reach in and grab the knife, or would I sheath it first? Pretty straightforward question. What would you do? Would you just stick that knife in the drawer and try to remember every time that you opened up the drawer that if you grab this thing by the blade, you're going to lose fingers? Or would you put it in a sheath, or put it, better yet, in a block in which it is perfectly safe? And this is the same thing when we're talking about VPNs. Yes, some are better than others. No shit. It's like some cars are better than others. Do car companies lie about their products? Of course they do. That's because we've lost control of capitalism. Capitalism is not the correct word, by the way. The free market. They have lobbied to be allowed to exaggerate claims. See, if we could go back in time to the way things were in the 60s, as an example, you didn't have anywhere near as much falsehood in advertising. I took a law class in high school until I dropped it after about 4 weeks in because I just couldn't stand it. I saw no purpose to this class whatsoever. I could sit in the cafeteria with my thumb up my ass. I'd be better off. But I did learn one thing that was fascinating. Excedrin used to have a commercial back in the 70s in which they talked about this woman who had a tremendous headache, right? And so she goes and she takes 2 Excedrin, and she's wonderful. And then at the disclaimer, which was a verbal disclaimer that nobody got, was, for pain other than headache, take Excedrin. So here there's advertising for you to take this medication for a headache and then telling you afterwards it won't make any difference. But legally, they could do that at that point in time. It was not false advertising stating that Excedrin would help your headache because they disclaimed it afterwards. And if you weren't listening, it's your problem. And the use of a VPN is very simply this. Would you put the knife in the drawer in that condition? Or would you make sure that it was safe? Would you take your cell phone out, no matter what kind of a douchebag, the guy's name is Scott, no matter what kind of a douchebag and his opinion of VPNs is, and people who endorse VPNs is, would you go unencrypted, go plain text? Would you take the extra risk that something may happen, or would you take one extra step to make sure you're protected? That's what it gets down to. Right? Be careful who you listen to. Right? Because there are some unbelievably indoctrinated, raving idiots on the internet. But they sound very much like I'm an authority. Have you ever once heard me say, I'm an authority because? No, I'm giving you advice, and I'm presenting it to you in a environment and in a situation where I hope you see the logic in what I'm saying. And if you don't, then you will move on to something else. When somebody starts to tell you, I know better than anybody else because I am this, they are a lying sack of shit. Now, that does not mean that they don't know what they're talking about, but because you are an authority on something does not mean you're not a liar, does not mean you're not a manipulator, does not mean you're not a sellout. Right? Welcome to the 21st century. Now, I'm going to give you an example because I cannot stand this man, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I cannot stand him. I used to like him. He had a show on public television where I watched it on the universe, and it was, I can't remember what the thing was called. And I thought, wow, this is a really cool show. And then I saw him on an interview one day stand there like an authoritarian bastard with a microphone in his hand, and he dropped it and hit the ground. He says, that's gravity, bitch. Deal with it. No, it's not. That's an observation. That is not proof of anything. That is an observation. Always remember that one. What is the actual proof of that? Well, the microphone fell and hit the ground because it's heavier than the air. Right? Gravity's never been proven, but it's an authoritarian claim. When they don't understand something, they blame gravity for it, which I love. I'm sorry. The theory may be completely correct, but there are so many holes in the theory. Don't come off as an authoritarian. Now, had he turned around and said, well, this is what we would call in science, and he's not a scientist anyway, he's a frickin' actor. He's no better than Robert De Niro. Here's another toolbox, man. I used to like him too until he opened his mouth. I don't like people who are high profile trying to coerce people because they're famous. That just drives me crazy. But anyways, okay, well, see, this is what we believe is our theories are this microphone would drop to the ground because of gravity. Not the way he did it. I have no use for the man. I will turn a channel if he's on it. I will not. I could have my favorite podcaster interview him, and I will not watch the interview. The guy just makes me want to vomit. I cannot stand authoritarian people like that. Anyways, sorry for the rant, guys, but don't listen to this crap that you're going to find here. Talk to people who are talking common sense. And common sense is not very common. That's why everybody needs a dose of it. Get your damn VPN. Don't do one that's free. Don't be cheap. This is your privacy we're talking about here, and you are being watched. You may not be of interest, but your rights are being violated because you're being watched without your permission. Plus, since I've been doing what I've been doing for the last little while now, I started taking my privacy seriously about 2 years ago, but I don't see any more ads. And life is wonderful when you don't get ads. Have a great day, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Share this with your friends. Don't let your life become a digital wasteland by listening to the wrong people when it comes to your privacy. It is always best to err on the side of caution, not on the side of bullshit. And if by some development, this gentleman who had this video today, which I thumbs down, I'm not subscribed to him. I don't know why it was shown to me. The facts don't care about your feelings, dude. Live with it. You're lying to people to get ratings on your channel. Have a great day, guys. Catch you next time. Ciao.